Unfortunately for them, they don't understand the business they are in. Whether they're making cars or making electronics or healthcare, all of these businesses, they are not based on technology. People have got to know that what makes them successful and what keeps them on top and ahead of the competition are those universal concepts. And they are basically all available in everybody. You don't have to go buy them and you don't have to FedEx them. They are existing in everybody. A sense of passion, enthusiasm. This is what I'm excited about. A company that doesn't get excited doesn't survive. You have to have a passion. Fred Smith at Federal Express, that's beautiful. But he built that company on a commitment, not just to technology, to three things: people, service, and profit. So what I'm saying to you is, everybody has within them that power to become passionate leaders, to make them your employees powerful. Number two, to have a positive attitude. Select the attitude. People would laugh at us, say, "Federal, what?" And today, we are a verb. Feelings, attitudes. I mean, the truth of the matter is, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, either way, you're right. And relationships. I loved it when I had everybody holding hands. And I said to them, we gotta hold hands, everybody in your company, hold hands and look both ways, because we, the company, are crossing the street together. That's what it's about. Fortune magazine designated Federal Express, which is like 7 years old now, as one of the corporations of the decade. Mr. Morita, the founder and president and CEO of Sony, called me. And he invited me, he congratulated me, and he invited me to have dinner with him. Now, I went to New York and I met him for dinner, and he said to me something I'll never forget. He said to me, when I started Sony, and by anybody's definition, Sony is a successful company, he said, when I started Sony, I went to the dictionary and looked up the word customer. Ooh, I was impressed. And he said, what I found was that the word customer was derived from the Latin word custom. Now everybody knows what custom is, right? It's part of your culture. And he said, and custom, the word customer can be defined as a relationship built on faith or trust over a long period of time. So a customer is not a check. A customer is not an invoice. A customer is a relationship built upon that element of trust or faith. And it takes a long time. So we take the value system of people, service, and profit to simply put it, take care of your people. Your people will take care of the customer. And the profit will take care of itself. When I was a young man, the world was large. People here didn't know people here. Today, we are a global village. Well, just think of this, okay? In 1969, on a July evening in Connecticut where I lived, a young man uttered those words which were heard around the world. One small step for man, one giant step for mankind. Now, that was seen all over the world. And all of a sudden, people realized the power of this. Now, obviously, micro-technology, things got smaller. You could ship them, you could do that. Went from big to small. There were other changes too, okay? The fact of the matter is, the country was moving. Back in the 70s, some 20 or 30% of the population moved every year. So when they brought their things with them to a new city, they also brought their expectations. So if you say to somebody from Boston or from a large metropolis that you would have their medical tests back in 2 weeks. No. 2 hours maybe. So all of a sudden Federal Express comes along and we recognize the value of people who need to get things quickly. So I would say Federal Express changed the way the world does business. Just as HSM is changing the way leadership and management changes. The old rules no longer apply. We are living in a global village, and we need to listen to our employees and our customers. Today, who work for companies do not like their job. They don't. Now, why don't they like their job? I'll tell you. A recent survey by the Department of Commerce, the research in America, will tell you that most employees are bored. In high school, students are dropping out. They're leaving school before they graduate. And this is hard for us to accept, that people are leaving high school not because they're stupid, not because they're not smart. They are leaving school, these dropouts, because they are bored. If the leader doesn't lead, and the teacher doesn't teach, what do you expect? We must develop leaders who know how to lead. Now, how do you lead? You lead by keeping the people who work for you informed of what's going on. You lead by telling people what you expect of them. And the third thing you do is get out of the way. Leaders are afraid to give the people who work for them a chance to fail. I say to them, wait a minute, do you come to work every day to fail? Of course not. Well, what makes you think all of your employees come to fail? They're no different than you. Nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to be mediocre. Give them a chance. People who think that outsourcing is wrong are about to be surprised. Because if you don't outsource, you don't grow. We must make room for our employees to learn new technology, invent new businesses. You see, understand something. Most companies, or not most countries outside of the United States and a few others, they don't create. They copy. They rely on price. They don't pay their people well. They don't give them good working conditions. How can they not succeed in terms of economics? It's like the difference between a manager and a leader. A manager knows how to do the job. These outsourcing countries understand how to do the job. Make it cheaper, make it more volume. But a leader, the difference is, a leader knows the next job to do. Success comes from people who listen, parents who listen to their children, husbands who listen to their wives, employees who are listened to by the manager. A leader listens. A manager bosses. Failure is not an option. Failure is a choice. At Federal Express and many other companies, Microsoft, my client Daimler Chrysler, all of these companies have high standards. The objectives at Federal Express from day one were this interesting: 100% customer satisfaction after every transaction. Are you kidding me? 100%? Yeah. You think we'll ever get there? No, we won't. Who's perfect? But that's where we hang our target, up there. So we'll come to 95, 96, 97, 98. Better than some people who would be very happy with an 80% customer satisfaction. To us, 1% is too much. Winston Churchill, I was hypnotized by him. I just loved his many phrases that he said. Lady Astor said to him one day in the House of Commons when he said something that she didn't approve of. And she stood up in front of all of these members of the Parliament in Congress and she said, "Sir, you are drunk." And he looked at her and he said, "Madam, you are ugly, but tomorrow I will be sober." You won't believe this. I'm insecure. I am insecure. Every day when I go on stage, when I do work, I get nervous. My wife says to me, "What's the matter?" I said, "Shh, shh. I'm nervous. I really am." And she'll say, "Oh, you'll be okay." I'll say, no, I don't know. Hope it works. And then I go out and I do what I do, right? And people stand up. And I come off the stage. And you know the first thing I say to people? "Was it okay? Did you like it? Is it okay?" They look at me like I'm crazy. "Didn't you see?" I said, "Yeah, I guess so." I'm a validational speaker who needs validation. And if you tell me, and I'm good, that you really think I did a good job, it means so much to me. We need to validate our children, validate our employees. We need to validate our friends, validate our mates. You go down the street someday and you meet somebody's eye contact. And just smile and say, "Good day." Makes their day. When you get on an airplane and the flight attendant says, "Good morning, welcome aboard." Ooh, what a nice flight that is, huh? But not always happens. And because of all the trouble that the airline people are having in the service business, just like Tom Peters talks about the need for this kind of behavior in hospitality. Look, in the hotel business, it's not about helping people with their luggage. It's about helping people with their baggage. They go around the world to be interviewed, to go to a funeral, to find a new job, to see their children. That's baggage. The luggage, no problem. Send it up to room 202. So we need to help each other with our baggage. The luggage will get there.